On this episode, we sink with the Mary Rose. We also join Nelson's flagship Victory. What was that? And I get spooked in the museum. And our boat takes on water.
I said we were a bit overloaded.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining me again. This week we've got a bit of a different video. Yeah, we haven't got a walk and talk because we went to Portsmouth and we saw a few museums. So yeah, this is our little experience, a bit of a cultural Wheels on Wheels this weekend. Okay, we'll be back to normal next week. Enjoy. Hi and welcome to the channel once again. On this trip we caught the ferry from Gosport over to Portsmouth Harbour, and little did I know what events would be in store later in the day. Our first port of call was the long-awaited trip to the Museum of the Mary Rose ship. The Mary Rose ship was built nearly 500 years ago during the reign of King Henry VIII. The ship had 4 decks and carried around 400 crew members too. Well, when Henry became king in 1509, England had a very small navy, and at that time England and France were enemies. France had a large navy, so Henry decided to build more ships, including the Mary Rose. The Mary Rose then took part in many battles, and during a battle in the English Channel, the ship rolled over on its side and water came rushing in through the openings for the cannons, and the Mary Rose sank. No one knows for sure what made the ship roll onto its side. There were more than 500 men on board the Mary Rose when it sank. Only 35 survived. In 1971, divers found the structure of the ship and they began the long process of digging it out of the mud. 11 years passed until 1982, a team of experts had the technology to recover the ship from the seabed, and the ship was towed into the harbour at Portsmouth. And I still remember the event as a teenager, watching the live pictures as the ship rose to the surface. Yep, it was quite a memorable event. And they found thousands of wonderfully preserved artefacts in the ship. And look at these shoes. Some of these are in better condition than mine now. And they found nearly 100 fairly complete skeletons too. Haha, but this one really fascinated me. The complete skeleton of the ship dog. They found dice as well, and look at these combs. Gosh, they're even older than the one I last had. Apparently, each seaman's days was given the allocation of 8 pints of ale a day. Yeah, 8 pints, blimey, sign me up, I say. No, it wasn't as good as it sounds because it was pretty weak stuff, that beer. Apparently, it was equivalent to 1-2%, so I think they made it light so you could carry on doing your duties. Unless you were a bit of a lightweight. Now, this is when it gets a bit interesting because this is when my camera caught something. Yeah, I don't know if any of you remember watching the Most Haunted program when they used to go to haunted locations. Well, did I capture a ghostly orb when I was filming the ship? Look at this. What do you think? Oh, well, maybe or maybe not. Tell me what you think in the comments. Our next stop was Nelson's flagship, the Victory. And this marks the spot where Nelson fell on the deck. And here's the Admiral's bed. Oh, blimey, I don't know about that. It's like sleeping in a coffin. And here's his private quarters. Oh, this is a lot better, isn't it? Nice view too. Up on the deck. Oh, what are these battens for? I hope they wasn't for beatings. You gotta watch your step here. You realise that the crewmen in those days were a lot shorter than we are now. This is the deck that would be full of smoke, gunpowder, shouting and injuries as the cannons recoil back in battle. See, the captain's table doesn't look too shabby, does it? And any guesses what's behind here? Yeah, the most important place. And this is where Nelson's sidekick Hardy used to sleep. Right close to Nelson's room. Kiss me, Hardy. See, they had a proper kitchenette. Yeah. I don't know, it looks a bit like chicken tikka masala. I realised as we descended the lower decks, the ceilings got lower. Now, I'm not tall, but I did bang my head a few times. And look at the beds. They're not even like coffins here. So finally it was time to have a look down in the brig, I think it's called. And if you were in battle and you sustained a bad injury, you were taken down below here to the ship's surgeon. And oh God, say no more. Later, it was time to visit the Submarine Museum. First, took a look inside this little midget sub. Oh, no good if you're suffering from claustrophobia. Hey, and that bed's a bit narrow, isn't it? Hey, good gosh. And then it was time to have a look inside that big boy.
Okay then, so welcome to Alliance. Alliance is a really old submarine. She's about 1945 she was built for the war, didn't make the war. She ran till 1973, so she actually ran for about 27 years.
Pixie block, yeah! You jammy devil.
Cold War submarine, you need to be extremely quiet. If you don't, and there's an enemy around and hears you, they'll punish you. So everything has to be, so what they did was they streamlined the whole of the submarine and made it so that no water noises, and at least you got a good chance then of staying alive. And they used to go Norway, Sweden, Huddersfield. I say Huddersfield, that's the last group was in the from Huddersfield. The frozen north we call it. Okay, anything above sort of Huddersfield and upwards is the frozen north. And they used to spend all their time up there. You get a completely different kettle of fish as to what you're doing up there. Obviously, it's not called spying anymore, it's observing. It used to be observed things that were going on up there. Okay, so as I say, it's quite a big submarine as you'll see as you go through.
You nicking this?
No,
Are you selling the souvenirs?
I
You selling the souvenirs?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I'm deep cleaning. So it's next to cleaning, serving.
And then I overheard a conversation involving the lady cleaning behind the torpedo bay. She said she had found cigarette butts that were maybe there for over 50 years.
Actually, we're from an area that hasn't actually been cleaned before.
Really? All right.
And we're pretty certain of this, but when Ian Clark did the original leaflet, he said he didn't get down here because there's no one that fitted down here. And also, we have found a couple of frag butts down here.
Really, have you?
Which would have gone back to when she was in service, and she was decommissioned in 1971, I think. So yeah,
That's history.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow, what amazing.
Absolutely. That's history you can feel and you can relate to it.
And later we caught the water bus across the harbour to Portsmouth, but the journey was more eventful than I would have liked.
Bloody hell, but
We're leaking. Stop the leak.
yes.
Oh, you're back. You're back. You're back. You're back.
Blimey, me, I told you, I said we were a bit overloaded.
What are you thinking about?
Bail out.
What are you thinking about? When you said it me back, I thought it me water.
There you go.
as we departed the water bus, I decided to inquire why we experience wet feet.
Where did all the water come from inside? Inside? Yeah, we had a gush of water as we approached and all down the inside there.
I reckon it probably got kicked in from the fender.
All right, okay. Got wet feet, but they'll dry.
Well, this brings another episode to an end, but thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you could press that subscribe button, it does help me so much. I'm trying to get to 500, you know. I don't know if we can do it, but come on, let's give it a go. Right, next week we'll be back to my usual ramblings, a walk and a talk, and a little bit of humour. See ya. Bye-bye.